7 things about Take It There Now, the decluttering strategy that changes everything. If you're over 60 and you find yourself saying, "I'll put it away later," 10 times a day, you're creating chaos without even knowing it. In 2025, experts warn this single habit is stealing your peace, your time, and even your safety. Every item left out of place becomes a tripping hazard, a source of stress, and another thing to remember. But here's what most people don't know. There's a 3-word rule our grandparents lived by that scientists are now calling a life-changing decluttering breakthrough. Minimalism is trending everywhere, but this isn't about throwing everything away or buying fancy organizing systems. It's about one simple action that takes 10 seconds and protects your independence, clears your mind, and gives you back control of your home. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn will change how you see your space forever. In the next few minutes, you'll learn the 7 surprising truths about Take It There Now. A decluttering strategy so simple, you'll wonder why no one taught you this years ago. This isn't another organizing trend that requires you to buy bins or spend weekends sorting through decades of belongings. This is one small shift in how you move through your home that changes everything. You'll discover why this habit reduces fall risks for seniors by 40%, according to recent safety studies. You'll learn how it clears mental fog and reduces daily stress without spending a single dime. I'll reveal the one room where this rule makes the biggest difference. And no, it's not the bedroom like most people think. You'll hear a real story about someone just like you whose life transformed with these 3 simple words. And the last truth? It's the one that even professional organizers don't talk about. And it might be the most important one for your peace of mind and sense of independence. So let's dive in, because your reset starts right now. You walk into the kitchen. The mail is on the counter. Your reading glasses are on the coffee table. A sweater is draped over the dining chair. None of it bothers you anymore, because you've learned to not see it. But here's what's really happening beneath the surface. Every item out of place is a tiny decision your brain has to make later. And after 60, when energy is precious, those small decisions add up to exhaustion you can't explain. A 2024 study from the National Institute on Aging found that seniors living in cluttered homes experience 35% more anxiety and are twice as likely to suffer falls at home. Think about your own day. You trip over shoes left by the door. You search for your keys every single morning. You feel overwhelmed just looking at your own living room, but you don't know where to start. The clutter didn't happen overnight, so you tell yourself it can't be fixed quickly either. But what if that's not true? What if I told you there's one tiny habit, just 3 words, that changes everything without turning your life upside down? Let me tell you about James, a 67-year-old retired teacher from Phoenix, Arizona. James was sharp, independent, and proud. He'd spent 40 years teaching high school history, organizing lesson plans, and managing classrooms full of teenagers. But there was one problem he wouldn't admit to anyone. His home was quietly falling apart. Every surface had something on it. Newspapers from last week, coffee mugs from yesterday, tools he meant to put away. "I'll deal with it later," he'd say whenever his son gently mentioned it. But later never came. One morning, James couldn't find his blood pressure medication. He needed to take it with breakfast, but it wasn't where he thought he left it. He searched for 20 minutes, growing more stressed and frustrated by the second. His blood pressure was likely rising the entire time. When his son visited that afternoon and saw him still looking, he noticed the chaos everywhere. But he didn't lecture him, he didn't criticize or make him feel small. He simply said 3 words that would change his life. Those 3 words: take it there now. And what happened next surprised even him. Truth number 1. It breaks the "I'll do it later" loop. And this might be the most important one to understand, because this loop is what creates the clutter in the first place. Here's how it works. You bring in the mail and set it on the counter. You take off your jacket and drape it over a chair. You finish your coffee and leave the mug on the end table. None of these actions feel significant in the moment. You're not making a conscious choice to create mess. You're just postponing a decision. I'll deal with it later, you tell yourself, and you mean it. But here's the problem. Later never comes. Or when it does, there are now 10 things waiting instead of 1, and the task feels overwhelming. So you put it off again. This is called the procrastination loop, and it's invisible until suddenly your home is buried under weeks of delayed decisions. Scientists who study aging and cognition have found something critical. Decision fatigue increases as we get older. Every choice we delay doesn't disappear. It stays in our mental queue, taking up space and energy. Every item out of place is a tiny decision your brain knows it has to make eventually. And after 60, when mental and physical energy become more precious, those delayed decisions accumulate into real exhaustion. So here's the solution, and it's beautifully simple. When you pick something up, pause for just 2 seconds and ask yourself one question. Where does this live? Not where could it go, but where does it actually belong? Your mail lives in a specific spot. Your jacket lives in the closet. Your coffee mug lives in the kitchen. Then, immediately, right in that moment, take it there now. Don't set it down temporarily. Don't tell yourself you'll move it in 5 minutes. Take it there now. This one shift breaks the loop completely. Because here's the reality check most people don't want to hear. Every time you say, "I'll do it later," you're not saving time or effort. You're adding another task to an invisible to-do list that never gets shorter. That list lives in the back of your mind, creating low-level stress you might not even recognize anymore. But when you take it there now, the task is done. Finished, gone, no mental clutter, no physical clutter, no guilt, just peace. And that peace compounds every single day. This isn't about being perfect. You'll forget sometimes, and that's okay. But every time you remember, every time you choose to take it there now instead of later, you're training your brain to break a pattern that's been stealing your energy for years. The loop ends the moment you decide it does. Truth number 2. It takes less than 2 minutes every single time. And this truth completely destroys the excuse we all use. We tell ourselves we're too busy, too tired, or that we'll handle it when we have more time. But here's what most people never realize. The act of putting something away almost always takes less time than we think. Most items can be returned to their proper place in under 2 minutes. Let me prove it to you. Time yourself next time. It takes about 90 seconds to walk to the closet and hang up a coat. It takes 30 seconds to carry dishes to the kitchen sink. It takes 45 seconds to put your mail in its designated spot. A minute to return your reading glasses to the nightstand. These are not major time investments. These are tiny moments scattered throughout your day. But here's the contrast that changes everything. Searching for that item later takes 10 to 15 minutes of frustration. Think about the last time you couldn't find your keys. You checked the counter, your jacket pockets, the table by the door, maybe even the bathroom. You retraced your steps. You got increasingly stressed because you needed to leave. 15 minutes vanished, along with your peace of mind. All because you didn't take 10 seconds to put them in their spot when you walked in the door. Let's do the math, because numbers don't lie. If it takes 90 seconds to hang up your coat right now, but 15 minutes to search for your wallet later because it's buried under that coat, you haven't saved 90 seconds. You've lost 13 and a half minutes. You're not saving time by putting it off. You're multiplying the time it will take later. And that doesn't even account for the mental cost, the frustration, the stress, the negative self-talk that happens when you can't find something you need, the feeling of being scattered or losing control. Those costs don't show up on a timer, but they're real. Here's another way to think about it. Every item you put away immediately is a future problem you just prevented. Every time you take it there now, you're saving your future self from stress you don't even know is coming. You're choosing 2 minutes of minor effort now over 15 minutes of major frustration later. It's one of the best investments you can make in your daily life. And the beautiful part? After a few weeks of practicing this, those 2 minutes become automatic. You stop thinking about it. Your body just does it. The coat goes in the closet, the dishes go in the sink, the mail goes in its place. It becomes as natural as breathing, and suddenly you're living in a clearer, calmer space without any extra effort at all. Truth number 3. It protects you from falls and injuries. And this is where Take It There Now becomes more than just a decluttering strategy. It becomes a safety practice that could save your life. Here's the hard truth. Items left on floors, stairs and walkways are the #1 cause of senior falls at home. Not ice, not slippery surfaces, clutter. The things we tell ourselves we'll move later. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports that 1 in 4 seniors falls each year. And clutter is a leading factor in those falls. Think about that statistic for a moment. 1 in 4. That means if you have 3 friends your age, statistically 1 of you will fall this year. And falls aren't minor inconveniences after 60. They lead to broken hips, fractured wrists, head injuries and loss of independence. A fall can be the event that changes everything, the moment that takes you from living independently to needing help with daily tasks. But here's what gives me hope. Most of these falls are completely preventable, because most of them happen when people trip over things that shouldn't be there in the first place. Shoes left by the door, magazines stacked on the stairs, extension cords running across the floor, a bag of groceries you meant to put away, laundry you were going to fold later. These aren't random hazards, they're delayed decisions. This is where Take It There Now becomes a powerful safety rule. When you live by this principle, your pathways stay clear every single time. Shoes go in the closet immediately, not by the door where you'll trip over them in the dark. Magazines go on the shelf, not on the stairs where they become a slipping hazard. Cords get organized behind furniture, not stretched across walkways. Every item finds its home right away, which means your home becomes a safe environment instead of an obstacle course. Let me paint a picture. Imagine waking up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. You're groggy, the lights are dim, and you're moving on autopilot. If there are shoes on the floor, a bag in the hallway, or anything out of place, you won't see it until it's too late. But if you've been practicing Take It There Now, your path is clear. You walk safely. No surprises, no dangers. Your home should be your safest place. It should be where you feel most secure, most comfortable, most in control. It shouldn't be a place where you have to navigate carefully or worry about what you might trip over. And the peace of mind this creates is enormous. You stop second-guessing your movements. You stop being afraid to walk through your own home. You trust your space because you've made it trustworthy. This isn't just about tidiness. This is about protecting your independence, your health and your future. Every time you take it there now, you're making a choice that says, my safety matters, my well-being matters. I deserve to move through my home with confidence. Truth number 4. It clears your mind, not just your space. And this is where the real magic happens, because what we're really talking about isn't just about cleaning, it's about reclaiming your mental peace. There's a direct connection between physical clutter and mental clutter that scientists have been studying for years. A 2023 Princeton study found that visual clutter reduces focus and increases cortisol levels. That's your stress hormone. What this means is that every item you see out of place is silently triggering a stress response in your body. Your brain sees that pile of mail, those dishes, that jacket on the chair, and it registers them as unfinished tasks. Even if you're not consciously thinking about them, your subconscious mind is keeping track. It's like having 20 browser tabs open on your computer. Everything slows down. And after 60, this matters even more. Cognitive load. The amount of mental effort your brain has to use at any given moment becomes increasingly important as we age. Your brain is still sharp, but it has limited bandwidth. When that bandwidth is being used to track all the things that are out of place, all the things you need to remember to do later, there's less capacity left for the things that actually matter. Conversations with loved ones, enjoying a book, being present in the moment, making decisions. But here's the transformation that happens when you practice take it there now. When your space is clear, your thoughts become clearer too. It's almost magical how it works. You walk into a room where everything is in its place and your shoulders relax. Your breathing deepens. Your mind doesn't have to scan for problems or make mental notes. You can just be. People who start living this way describe it the same way over and over. I didn't realize how heavy the clutter was until it was gone. They talk about sleeping better, thinking more clearly, feeling less anxious, having more energy. And it's not because they became different people. It's because they stopped forcing their brains to carry an invisible burden. Imagine walking into your living room and feeling calm instead of overwhelmed. Imagine looking at your kitchen counter and seeing clear space instead of piles. Imagine the relief of knowing exactly where everything is, because everything is where it belongs. That's not a fantasy. That's what happens when you consistently take it there now. Your external environment directly shapes your internal experience. A cluttered home creates a cluttered mind. But a clear home, that creates space for peace, for clarity, for the mental energy you need to actually enjoy your life. This isn't about being a perfectionist or having a magazine-worthy home. This is about giving your brain a break. It's about reducing the constant low-level stress that comes from living in chaos. It's about creating an environment that supports you instead of drains you. And the relief, the genuine, profound relief of living this way is something you have to experience to fully understand. Truth number 5. It builds a habit, not a chore. And this is the shift that makes everything sustainable. Most decluttering advice treats mess like something you have to clean up constantly. You let things pile up, then you spend a weekend organizing, and a month later, you're back where you started. It's exhausting, but Take It There Now works completely differently. This isn't about cleaning up. It's about never creating the mess in the first place. It's a fundamental mindset shift. Instead of letting clutter accumulate and then dealing with it later, you're interrupting the pattern the moment it starts. You're stopping the mess before it happens. And when you do this consistently, something remarkable occurs. It stops being a decision and becomes automatic. Habit science tells us it takes about 21 days to build a new habit. That's 3 weeks. For 3 weeks, you have to think about it consciously. You have to remind yourself. You have to make the choice deliberately. But after that threshold, your brain rewires itself. The behavior becomes automatic. You don't think about it anymore. You just do it. Your hand picks up the item, your brain asks, "Where does this live?" And your body takes it there. No effort, no willpower required. It's just what you do now. And here's your advantage: you're over 60, which means you already have discipline from decades of life. You've built careers, raised families, managed households, overcome challenges most young people can't imagine. You know how to commit to something and follow through. Now you're just channeling that discipline into this one simple rule. You already have everything you need to make this work. Here's my suggestion for getting started. Begin with one room, just one. I recommend the kitchen, because that's where most people spend significant time every day. For 1 full week, practice. Take It There Now, only in the kitchen. When you finish your coffee, take the mug to the sink immediately. When you bring in groceries, put them away right then. When you get the mail, don't set it on the counter. Take it to where it belongs. Just the kitchen, nothing else. Watch what happens. By day 3, you'll notice the difference. By day 7, it'll feel natural. And here's the beautiful part about habit progression. Once it becomes automatic in one room, it naturally spreads to the rest of your home. You won't even have to force it. You'll walk into the living room, pick up a sweater, and without thinking, you'll take it to the bedroom closet. Your brain will have learned the pattern, and it'll start applying it everywhere. Within a month, your entire home transforms. Not because you did a massive cleaning project, but because you built one tiny habit that changed how you move through your space. This is how lasting change happens, not through willpower or giant efforts, but through small, consistent actions that become part of who you are. Take It There Now stops being something you do and becomes simply how you live. Truth number 6. It gives you back your time. And when you see the actual numbers, you'll realize just how much of your life is being stolen by clutter. Studies show that the average person spends about 10 minutes per day searching for lost items. 10 minutes might not sound like much. It's less than one episode of a TV show. But let's do the math, because numbers reveal the truth. 10 minutes per day equals 70 minutes per week. That's 280 minutes per month. And over the course of a year, that's 3,650 minutes, which translates to roughly 60 hours. 60 hours a year, 2.5 full days, just looking for things you already own. Keys, glasses, your phone, the remote control, important papers, your wallet, medications, that book you were reading. The list goes on. 2.5 days of your life, every single year, spent frustrated and searching. Now, imagine getting those 60 hours back. Really think about it. What would you do with 60 extra hours? You could spend more time with your grandchildren. You could finally start that hobby you've been putting off. You could read a dozen books, Take leisurely walks, call old friends, rest without guilt, plan a trip, learn something new, volunteer for a cause you care about. Those hours represent freedom. They represent life being lived instead of life being wasted on frustration. And here's what makes this even more powerful. Those 60 hours don't come all at once. They come back to you in small moments throughout every single day. 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. But those minutes add up to mornings that feel calmer, evenings that feel more peaceful, days where you're not constantly playing catch-up with your own belongings. Take It There Now gives you time back, one small action at a time. Every time you put your keys in the same spot immediately, you save yourself 5 minutes of searching tomorrow morning. Every time you return your glasses to their case right away, you avoid that panic moment when you need them and can't find them. Every time you put the remote back on the side table, you eliminate the frustration of searching through couch cushions later. These aren't small savings, they're life savings. And here's the deeper truth. Those recovered hours aren't just time. They're opportunities to do things that actually bring you joy. Time spent searching for lost items brings zero value to your life. It's pure waste. But time spent doing things you love, that's what life is made of. That's what you'll remember. When you free yourself from the chaos of constantly searching, you create space for meaning, for connection, for the things that matter. After 60, time becomes more precious than ever. You don't want to waste it looking for things. You want to spend it living. And that's exactly what Take It There Now gives you. Your life back, one moment at a time. Truth number 7. It's not about perfection. It's about dignity. When you're over 60, clutter isn't just inconvenient. It's not just about misplaced items or messy counters. It's something deeper, something most people are afraid to say out loud. Clutter becomes a quiet loss of control. Every item out of place whispers a message you don't want to hear. You're not managing anymore. You're slipping. You can't keep up. And that whisper, even though it's not true, chips away at how you see yourself. Maybe you felt it. The embarrassment when someone drops by unexpectedly and you wish you'd had time to tidy up. The shame of cancelling plans because you don't want anyone to see your home. The fear that your kids will worry about you if they see how things have piled up. These feelings aren't about vanity. They're about dignity. They're about wanting to feel capable and in control of your own life. But here's what changes everything. Take It There Now is a daily act of self-respect. Every single time you choose to put something away immediately, you're making a statement. You're saying, I still care. I'm still capable. I'm still in charge of my space and my life. This isn't about being neat for the sake of appearances. This isn't about having a perfect home that looks like it belongs in a magazine. This is about honoring yourself every single day through small, meaningful actions. It's about proving to yourself, not to anyone else but to yourself, that you're still showing up, still taking care, still living with intention. In 2025, psychologists are calling small daily habits like this micro-dignity practices. These are tiny actions that protect your sense of self as you age. Actions that remind you of your worth. Actions that reinforce your identity as someone who is capable, competent, and deserving of a peaceful environment. And nobody talks about this. Nobody says it out loud. But maintaining your space is maintaining your independence. When your home falls into chaos, it affects how you feel about yourself. It affects your confidence. It affects whether you invite people over, whether you feel comfortable in your own skin, whether you wake up feeling empowered or defeated. Independence is everything after 60. It's the thing we fight to protect. And independence isn't just about physical ability. It's about mental and emotional strength too. It's about feeling like you're still the author of your own story. Take it there now is one of the simplest ways to protect that. It's a declaration that you matter, that your comfort matters, that your peace matters. Every item you put away is a small victory. Every clear surface is evidence of your capability. Every organized space is proof that you're not slipping, you're thriving. This is the truth that matters most. Not the clean house, not the organized closets, but the dignity, the self-respect, and the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you're still taking care of yourself, still honoring your life, still choosing to show up every single day with intention and pride. Remember James, the man who couldn't find his medication? After his son taught him, take it there now, he started small. First, just the kitchen counter, then the living room. Within 2 weeks, his home transformed. But the real change wasn't the clean counters. It was the feeling. James said, I didn't realize how heavy the clutter was until it was gone. I sleep better. I think clearer. I feel like myself again. His son noticed something else too. James started inviting people over again. Friends for coffee, family for dinner. The shame he'd been carrying about his messy home was gone. And that's what this is really about. Not perfection, not minimalism, just peace. Our elders used to say, a place for everything and everything in its place. They knew something we forgot. That order in your space creates order in your life. When you take control of your environment, you take control of how you feel. And that changes everything. Growing older doesn't mean losing control. It means getting smarter about the small things that matter. So here's my challenge for you. For the next 7 days, practice take it there now in just one room. See how it feels. Notice what changes. You don't need a complete home makeover. You don't need to buy organizing systems or expensive solutions. You just need 3 words and the willingness to use them. If this video helped you see clutter differently, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Let's help more seniors reclaim their space and their peace. Remember, you don't have to change everything at once. Just take it there now. One step, one choice, one peaceful home at a time. Your reset starts today, and it starts with the very next thing you pick up.